Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how to get bigger biceps, make the biceps absolutely massive. So I'm going to give you a few tips, but first let me show you my arms. They're getting bigger every week. Every week I'm getting stronger on my exercises, so that's a clear sign of muscle growth. I can handle more volume, I'm stronger, faster. All of that is progress and it's a sign of muscle growth. So yeah, okay. Now the most important thing that I would say is really going to make the biceps grow very fast. So that's going to be tip number one. Is going to be make sure that all of your sets are very high quality sets. So what do I mean? What do I mean exactly by hard sets? Hard sets means that you take the sets to failure, meaning you fail on your last step, or you do limit sets. What are limit sets? Limit sets are you can do, you know that the next step you're going to fail that step, so that's the limit set. You stop. They both produce the same growth, and on a small exercise it's not going to make a difference. I sometimes do limit sets, sometimes I just take the set to failure, whatever. So that's going to ensure that you're working all of the muscle fibers in the biceps. That's very important. And not just, I know that not just by experience, but also a lot of studies show that the closer you take the set to muscle failure, the more muscle fibers are actually worked. So you recruit all the muscle fibers, the closer you get to muscle failure. So that's the most important thing that you can do, actually train harder. Don't leave fats in reserve. If your biceps are very important, they're weak, they might be the weak link in your physique, I would say it's very important to actually focus on training harder. That's what I'm doing, because I feel like my biceps personally are the weak link in my physique. They need to improve. So make sure that you're training harder. That's really going to make a difference. Okay, tip number two is actually maybe increase your training frequency a little bit. Prioritize your biceps. So if you have been training your biceps once a week, maybe increase that frequency to twice a week, maybe even 3 times a week. But be smart. More is not always better. More is not always better, and just by training harder you might actually improve your biceps a lot. But to make sure that everything's covered, you can take that frequency up a little bit, but not too much. I would say twice a week max. Twice a week max. And we usually increase the frequency to increase the volume. And again, I'm not a fan of crazy amounts of volume, because that doesn't work, and the harder you train, the less volume you actually need. Okay, now on to the next tip for biceps. A lot of people I see, they do partials on their curls, they cheat, they use other muscles to help them lift the weights. That's something very wrong. And the reason why is because when you cheat, you do partials, you don't really work the biceps. Because the biceps, they have to do the work. They have to do all the work. You can't just cheat like that. You don't use your lower back. You don't cheat. to make the exercise easier, you need to do the 4 range of motion. You have to do it strict, because that's going to make the exercise harder. You won't be able to handle as much weight, you won't be able to lift as much weight. You're not going to be able to do all of reps, but that's why you're going to pick the right weight for you that you're going to use to keep the form strict. So for example, you do barbell curls, you don't do that, you don't do partials, you use the 4 range of motion like this. This is your starting position. You lift the barbell all the way up. You lift the weight all the way up. You keep it strict, not ultra strict. You don't need that. You can shake a little bit. That's fine, but just be strict. Don't do that. Don't cheat. If you have to cheat, the weight is way too heavy for you. So leave your ego at the door. That's something very important to prevent injuries, to work the muscles better. So yeah, do the 4 range of motion all the time. Tip number 4, I would say do more than one exercise, at least 2 different exercises. What I do personally is that I do both dumbbell curls, I do the easy bar curl, and sometimes I do the barbell curls with the big barbell that I use, the 45-pound Olympic barbell. I use that, but it's most of my volume I use dumbbells. But again, I don't limit myself to one exercise only. Also, I do incline curls sometimes. I do very strict kind of curls. There are a lot of different curl variations that you can do, and really I would say that's everything that you need to know about getting big biceps. And also tip number 5, if you want to have big arms, you have to actually gain more muscle. You have to gain weight. So if you want to be big, you have to gain weight over time. Don't dirty bulk obviously, but don't expect to be big at 150, 160 pounds. You have to weigh more than that to be big. You have to be bigger to get big arms. So my current body weight is 200 pounds. Look at my arm size, I have to be a little bit heavier. I need more muscle on my arms. So I have to gain weight over the next few months. I have to gain weight and follow that advice that I just gave you, and my arms, they're going to grow. So please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, leave a comment down below, and see you very soon.